Okay, everybody, here we go. It's me, Gregory Mannarino, Monday, November 20th, 2023, and this is my pre-market report. Where do we start with this? First of all, right now, in case you may be interested, uh, we have the thing, creature, whatever it is, Yellen. She is speaking live right now, and CNBC is covering it. I don't care what comes out of its mouth. It's a lie. It's a deception. It's a distraction. And it's just going to be more of the same moving forward. Just count on it. If it says anything interesting, obviously I can't watch it right now. I will cover it later. I'm curious a little bit as to what comes out of its freaking pie hole. Anyway, with that said, people, this is a brand new week, and we have a few things that we need to keep our eyes on. Let's start off with crude oil, okay? I keep getting hit with this issue with crude oil, and I covered it yesterday, this whole contango thing. Greg, when's it going to end? It looks like it's over now. I don't know. We watched crude oil fall, pretty much gain it all back the next day, and right now crude oil is higher. We've regained everything and then some. We'll see where this goes. Yes, crude oil is the lifeblood of this freaking system, the lifeblood of the military-industrial complex. The investment banks are leveraged beyond their freaking eyeballs when it comes to this stuff. You can pretty much count on crude getting propped up via any mechanism they can come up with. If that means they have to, propagate this false flag, which we're already involved in, this Ukraine war, this Israeli war, this is only a mechanism to pull cash into the now. You know how this works. And they'll kill as many people as they have to keep the system propped up, to keep the system, keep the illusion of liquidity. This has never stopped. I think most of you are already aware of this. We are still in a full-on, full-blown 100% liquidity crisis. Cash is drying up around the freaking world. And without this mechanism pulling more cash into the now, well, we just, we go back to the Stone Age. And so you can expect more of that. You can also expect a few other things to happen, and you and I have discussed this, forever now. Debts and deficits are going to hyper balloon from here. What did we find out last week? Manufacturing here in the United States remains in contraction. Industrial output, how about there almost isn't any? We're importing everything now. But GDP, keep your eye on GDP because of war funding, and that's all we're doing now is funding wars. That's going to add a lot to GDP, and they're going to tell you how strong our economy is because of this GDP number. And this GDP number, the next one they're going to float out, is obviously a complete falsehood. It's a fabrication based only on government spending on wars. Oh, yes, and the $3.8 trillion. Think about what I'm telling you. I covered it yesterday. $3.8 trillion that the Pentagon just lost. Oh, where did it go? How many people got really rich and fat off of that cash? You think that money's really just gone? No, it's not gone. Well, maybe it's gone from you and I, and it's off of their books or whatever it is, but it obviously went to enrich certain people. It's always the same story. You think this is any different than some, I don't know. This is not a democracy anymore. This isn't even a representative democracy anymore. And you and I have known this for, almost a decade. For how long have you and I discussed this is a whole new set of rules, a whole new paradigm, a whole new system? Well, welcome to it. This is it right now. There's no difference between this and a communist nation, whatever the heck it is. This is it. It's an incredible thing to see, but that's kind of where we are, and it's only going to get a lot more dramatic from here. And what are they doing to assure this? They're creating more people dependent on the system. Every single day that goes by, more people are falling into the lower rung of society here, and now are becoming dependent on the system, their system. And this is how they set this up. It's brilliant, but it's very dastardly creating a system of dependency on an unprecedented scale, only so they can exert or extort more control out of them. Think about what I'm saying, because that's exactly what's going on here. And if you think this is going to get any better anytime soon, then you really don't understand what's going on, how central banks have planned this from over a century ago, methodically, slowly, pushing the world, the people of the world into the situation that they're in now. And I can promise you, they're not done. You know this already. Speaking about not done, let's talk about this market here. All right, so crude oil, this whole contango thing, maybe over already. Okay, we're going to see where that goes. I can also say, again, look, and I've been telling you this for I don't know how long. Recession or not, supply and demand doesn't matter anymore. When you have a situation here where central banks are inflating at their fastest pace ever, okay, we have worldwide inflation, currency losing its purchasing power, you're going to see the price of crude oil go higher. Right now this isn't really the super high demand season, but this is going to change. And crude oil is going much higher along with other commodities as well. I mean, look, the game is very simple. What are they doing right now? What do you and I know for a fact is happening? Well, the Federal Reserve has just paused raising rates for their last two meetings. The market right now is pricing in rate cuts. I've been telling you this for a while. That's where we're going. We're going towards rate cuts here. Meanwhile, they're going to sell you that inflation is getting better. As a matter of fact, if you recall, after the last inflation report that came in that said inflation is moving higher, they were saying there was no inflation only because the number at the pace at which it's moving has not changed. But that does not mean that inflation isn't rising. It's still rising. Food inflation is outpacing everything, and I think you would have to agree. You do shop like I do. I mean, come on now, people, really. Anyway, no secret. Everything that we're seeing is everything that we have outlined in the past. Now, with that said, let's talk about this market. I was writing down a few things. Stock futures right now are flat. I mean, I'm talking ever so slightly in the negative for the major indices here. If they can keep risk at bay, and they do this very simply, very, very simply, people, pay attention to what I'm going to tell you, because this is how you're going to know that you're in the right spot. If you're long the market, as I am, okay, watch the 10-year yield. Okay, right now we're sitting about where we ended on Friday. The U.S. dollar this morning, markedly lower. Imagine my shock. You know this. We spoke about how they're doing this repeatedly as of late. The Fed's buying more debt, period. That's keeping rates suppressed. Keeping rates suppressed pushes cash into the stock market. With this all priced in dollars, a weaker dollar is bullish. Okay, so they're weakening the dollar here. You know how they're doing this. The Fed is dumping dollars, selling them onto the market, and they're buying foreign currencies. This is what they do. Every central bank does the same thing to manipulate the value of their currency. That's what's happening now. You're not supposed to know any of this stuff. These two factors are obviously good for this market, at least from the long end. And we've had the best, not 3 weeks, this market all year. And although I've been telling you that I think this market's due for a pullback, it really isn't due for anything, and it can just go up from here if they can keep rates suppressed and they can keep the dollar weaker. And risk in this market, based on the MMRI, which is back on my website, traderschoice.net, linked to everyone, about 387. If they can keep it here, okay, even though we remain at 387 is not a pretty place. I'm sorry, 287 is not a pretty place to be. It's still a high risk zone. They pushed it out of an extreme risk zone. The market don't care. The market is counting on more easy money, and I'm going to tell you right here and now, the market's going to get it, especially based on the year-end nonsense that goes on here with the CEOs of the major corporations' bonuses being based solely on year-end stock share price. The Fed's going to make sure all of these people get their multi-million-dollar bonuses, where you take it elbow deep, at least, in the gabagool. I think we're pretty much on the same page here. Anyway, so crude higher, Bitcoin higher, back over 37,000. Gold and silver under some pressure right now. Look, so what can you take away from this video? More of the same is going to continue. more faking of the market, more risk on. I think that's where we are pretty much at. That's going to give you and I opportunity to buy commodities cheaper. That the cash has to come from somewhere. Again, this kind of a mechanism where central banks, none more so than the Fed, have got into the debt market and rigged it to the highest order by buying it all. All it does is create distortions that would never exist in a real market. We do not have a real market. You all know that. But understanding this gives us enormous power. It gives us incredibly enormous power to get ourselves on the right side of this equation now. You always got to stay ahead of the curve, and I am working my hardest, and I'm trying my hardest to keep all of you ahead of the curve on this. And I think collectively, you and I, we've done the right thing. We have we've gotten ourselves in the right spots. We know where this is going. We understand the mechanisms here. We realize it. We know who our enemy is. So how can we lose? I don't think we can lose. Like I always tell you, they can do whatever they want. They can throw anything at us. We will counter strategize against it. They can't have it both ways. Okay, by creating one kind of an environment, they are also creating one of opportunity. And I think that's the perspective that you and I need to have. We need to grasp every single opportunity we can right now while this thing is getting even worse, because it's not going to get better for a while. I'm telling you, the distortions that exist are going to get worse. Debts and deficits are going to balloon. Central banks are going to weaken their currencies on a relative basis. There's no doubt about it. On an absolute basis as well. Okay, this is the real root cause behind inflation, but no one's going to tell you that. None of our loving, caring representatives are going to tell you that. No one running for president is going to tell you that. No, they're not going to. They can't. Okay, you have to understand. It's all a narrative. It's all fake. And it's all no different than watching a sitcom. I think we're pretty much on the same page. All right, pretty much that's it, people. We covered a lot here. I hope you got something out of this video. With that said, I will see all of you later, 4:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time now, whatever, Eastern Time. So we can cover this in more detail, and we'll maybe cover what Yellen puke was talking about this morning. Whatever it was a lie. I mean, the woman, the thing, can't tell you the truth ever. Especially, I mean, she's part of the whole thing. It's obvious. Anyway, so please share the video. Get it out there. Comment. Thumbs up are valuable. Oh, by the way, just real quick, I had my Copo. I have a 2017 Copo Camaro at the track yesterday. I ran a 9.0 flat at just over 153 miles per hour. I'm looking very forward to getting that thing in the 8s. I was only able to make one pass yesterday. The track was a mob scene. It was crowded like end to end. Now, if you're interested in watching some car racing, check out the Tesla Plaid channel. Andrew, my buddy over there, puts a lot of racing stuff. Now, we're going to set up a race between my Copo Camaro and his Tesla Plaid. And it's going to be interesting. If you want to see that drag race, okay, or maybe more than one, I'm going to place a link to Andrew's channel, the Tesla Plaid channel, in the link description of this video. All right. So check out Andrew's channel. He's a good guy. I like him. I think you like him too. A lot of cool stuff. And we're going to set up a drag race. And I think you guys and girls are really going to like that one. All right. I'll see you later.